Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the CEN show, where the people's voice is valued and informative. The Community Education Network.com is a platform to aid the effort of self and collective improvement. In your investigative or spare time, visit the website. We have a forum, we have past podcast shows, perspective writings, an events calendar, and a legends page. I am your host, Rasaki Maskani. I would like to present to everyone Sister Make It Happen. She is a wonderful colleague of mine who was on the show before. We had her on the show before, and her intellect intrigued me because I had to listen to her presentation twice due to her hidden messages. She had a unique way of answering my questions, but when I understood her content, it was simply amazing. Sister, make it happen. How are you this evening? And can you tell us more about yourself? You got to unmute.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, brother. How are you tonight?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here. Thank you for the warm and introduction. I appreciate that.
Quite welcome.
So, yes, sister, make it happen. I'm here today to be with you all and share this space and to build with one another.
Okay. Okay. So you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, sure. I'm an educator, I'm a community organizer, I'm a social scientist, I'm a medicine woman and a healer. And my mission is to empower and provide tools to families and to teach financial responsibility and responsibility for our decisions, to provide financial literacy and support families in a progression towards eradicating poverty. So, my mission is to help families understand this game that we call life.
Okay. That's interesting. Interesting. Yes. So let's go ahead and go to our topic this evening. It's goals for 2021.
Goals for 2021. You know, as a lifelong learner, I participate in a lot of seminars and a lot of training. And part of growing and developing as an adult is knowing that education doesn't stop. You know, um, we've been forced and learned a certain way, and we think after 12 years that we've arrived. But when we know our true culture and we know ourselves, we know that it took 42 years and in our tradition to learn thyself. And so, one of the things in my travels, I've come across a quote that I like to share with the platform. It's called Chart Your Course and by the Dream in Your Heart. I have begun this day to dream, to love, to build as I choose. I will accept that I am exactly where I am by the choices that I have made alone. I can waste my life or I can use it for good. But what I do today is important because I'm exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving in its place something that I have traded it for. I want this day to be a gain, not a loss. Good, not evil. Success, not failure. In order that I shall not regret the price that I have to pay for it, I will try just for today to steer clearly, to exercise my ability to choose, and to make every effort to chart my course by the dreams in my heart. So I thought that that was kind of an appropriate opening for our topic today,
Okay.
goals for 2021.
Okay, that's beautiful.
And when I think about goals, um, at the beginning of the year, we always are excited about New Year's resolutions. How many of us have already made our resolutions, and broke them? This is the end of the month, and we're 90% of people who set goals by this time have already start questioning what they're doing, right? So it's important when we're setting goals that we follow a formula, and but we always have to come from our cultural perspective, you know, in terms of why. Because when we're going for goals and we're thinking about goals, we want to have a why, a reason why we're achieving our goals, you know. So it's important to search yourself and figure out why you're on that treadmill running for your goals. You know? So there's this step that they call, and it's called SMART goals. Okay. And SMART goals basically is a 5-step process, right? And, as an educator, I work with people on life planning and goal setting, and everybody's at a different level in their life and how they plan. You know, we can even look at something as simple as how a butterfly develops and the stages of that butterfly development as a way of goal setting. It starts with a thought. That thought is like your egg, right? That goes back to why. Your thought has to drive what you're doing. Get up every day, you take a breath, where you going? Why you here? One of the books that I like to reference that I use is, Purpose Driven Life. One of my sorors gave me this, you know, uh, Purpose Driven Life. Every day we need to be, when we wake up, we need to figure out what we're doing, you know. Some of us, have long-term goals and short-term goals. But with the SMART goal formula, we can kind of help to break it down, make it specific, make it measurable, make it attainable, something that you can get to. So I want to make sure that I share with the platform the SMART goal formula, and you can look it up. You can Google it. It's something, again, specific. That is the M, the S in SMART. The M is measurable. The A is achievable. The R would be relevant, and the T would be timeliness. You know, um, so it's important that as we're waking up and we're going every day and we're trying to figure out what this thing is called life. We got all these things at us, environmental attacks coming at us, all these things happening, but we're still here, right? We survived. We're here. So then what is our purpose? And then how do we find that purpose? And then how do we get to those goals? Again, I said I was an educator. I'm constantly learning, constantly reading, constantly improving, thinking, vision stretching to figure out why I'm still here. We lost a lot of people this just one year. So all of us that are here, we have to really understand we have a purpose. And we got to first remember our culture, what we're coming from, our foundation, who we are, so that as we are moving towards these goals, they're purposeful, because you got to sacrifice to get to your goals. My husband and I have been working for the last 5 years on prosperity living. And, it's been a tough journey getting to prosperity living. And what is that? Well, we're trying to help our community. We're trying to, create residential facilities for disabled adults. Brother mentioned I'm his colleague. Well, I'm in a broken system that I know ain't going to do what I'm trying to do for my people. I'm trying. I'm there. I've been in it, though. I'm a digger. I've been in it. I'm making it happen. But I know that the time is up because COVID has made it clear. Time is up. We got to get focused on what's important in our community. So thank the Lord, thank God, thank the heavens and the earth that I have a mate that is a visionary. Again, vision, right? Thoughts, purpose. You breathe. Why are you here? You're valuable. Somebody loves you. I know they do. I see you. I can see it on your face. I can see the twinkle in your eye. Somebody love you. You have a purpose. So let's set some goals. Maybe I don't know. Again, brother and I work with the youth. You know, we set short-term goals, getting all of our credits, getting, passing our classes, getting to graduate. But then after that little trap is over, then the real life you start to live. And what do you do when you don't have people in the so-called school pushing you? What do you do? Do you have a mentor? Do you have a coach? My coach is a young woman. In fact, she could be one of my students. She's a 39-year-old retired teacher who's helping me get out of this box that I've trapped myself into. We need people. We have to have a coach to help us to be held accountable to these specific goals, these SMART goals. We have to have someone that we're going to say, hey, I'm going to work on my credit. Hey, I'm going to get a driver's license. I'm going to stop eating meat. Whatever your goal is, but think of improving yourself. Because remember, we're still here. We lost a lot of people. So what are you doing with all your time, your money, and your resources? So goals are the driving force. And like I tell the youth that I work with, I'm very passionate about what I do with the youth. And so I love hard and I expect them to rise because they're our future. And we need them right now to see us past this box that we're being trapped in. Their creativity, they have careers that some of us old folks can't even imagine. They have totally broke the matrix, these kids, these youth. My 27-year-old, my 25-year-old, they have cracked the code. But there's some foundational things you still have to be able to set goals, because you still have to chunk this stuff away. You can't get to it all at one time. So having a mentor, a coach, someone to hold you accountable for what you state, so that you say within 6 months, by this date, I'm going to be president. I mean, Kamala Harris is inspiring, but I have a lot of work to do to get to be president. I can get there, but I have a lot of work to do. She got there. She showed me it can be done. I'm going to, again, get on the school board. I'm going to, I don't know, get my driver's license. I'm going to, whatever your goal is, set a goal. I'm going to be nice to my mother. I'm going to clean my bathroom, whatever your goal is. I'm going to go take care of myself. But have something that drives you. Otherwise, you'll sit and sit and sit. And our greatest treasure is our health and time. So in my practice, these are some of the things that I teach and support the folks that I coach through the journey of life. So as we're setting these goals, I reference books because we got to read. We got to slow ourselves down, think, observe. The last time I was on a call, I talked about awareness and being aware. We got to be aware, can't be asleep. Can't fall asleep. I got this book here back a long, long time ago. I don't want to age myself, but a long, long time ago. Path to Power, The Making of a New African. Old book, right? But one of the things the lady said in here to me, sister, stay awake. That was 20 some years ago. Stay awake. That's my vision. That's my mission. Making of a new African. That's one of my goals in this life. This platform is helping me to do that. My mission is to empower, provide tools. I have to work with people, but I have to have a goal. And again, I'm thankful for visionaries who can see futures, partnerships to get to the goals. There's a lot of things that we can talk about, and I want to let the audience ask questions. But again, the SMART goals, they have to be specific and measurable and attainable and realistic, and they have to have a time on it. But again, where do they come from? How do you get a goal? How do we get a goal? Because it's what you do at the beginning of January, the new year. We're in the dead of winter time. It ain't New Year. When's the new year? Who can answer that question? It's the dead of winter time. My visionary daughter had me drive out for some poppy seeds. She saw this picture. She had a goal. She want to go take these pictures and these poppy seeds. I drive out. The dead of winter time. It's nothing's popping. So it's not the new year, but we should begin to prepare for the new year. We're marching to it. We're marching to the new year. Here we come. We get to March. We're at that spring equinox. We're right there. Now we can start a brand new. The flowers bloom. The sun is coming out. Right now we should be planning, having visions, figuring out who we are. Talk to Brother Maskani. talk to whoever loves you and is pouring light and love into you, because we got to grow, right? We're here. Remember, 2021 is a great year. I have a grandbaby, Akua. She was born on January 21st, 2021. This is a great year.
Congratulations, Grandma.
Yay! Right? 2021, we coming out of COVID, right? We're going to be strong. We're going to get sun. We're going to survive. And then what? What we going to do? So I am happy to pour these seeds in. And yes, I like to drop seeds and give a room for conversation. So it may not be as direct as you would like, but maybe you can say, hey, what did you mean by that?
Okay, I'm ready for you.
Okay. So I appreciate the time and the platform. And remember, grab some books. This young man has been really, really inspiring to me lately. He's a young brother. I know y'all see him all over the place. He's been inspiring to me lately. You know,
what's the brother's name again? I've seen him before.
Brother Raza Islam. You know, he's all over Instagram and stuff like that. I don't know him personally. I just know he's a Compton, kid, and dropping knowledge. I bought this book with my class of 2020 graduate, so that this young man got some good information. I'm proud. He makes my heart flutter that the future is there. We're gonna be okay. But again, when we get there, what are we going to do?
Yeah, I listened to the young brother before, and he's has some good information.
Well,
so listen, I want to put this into practice immediately. Okay. Now, I do goals with my students all the time.
You can do.
Every semester, I do goals with my students. So, when you're teaching, you're supposed to model what you teach, right? Just to make it happen. You there? You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I had it was unfortunate. I had 39% D's and F's
Mm,
this past semester, the fall, and it was various reasons. We have a new platform of distance learning. By the way, next week topic is distance learning.
it's crazy.
So I said that I want to at least cut off 10%. My goal was to cut off 10% of that 39%. So I want to have no more than 29% or below D's and F's. Because I wanted, you said, when you said we have to make it realistic. Now, if I
Yes.
can cut off 10%, I don't think that's too bad because we got to live in reality. So now, what can you tell me to help me achieve my goal of 29% or below D's and F's?
What can I tell you? Well, I definitely would say, do you have a teacher coach or a teacher partner that you kind of collaborate with that would kind of, help you to hold yourself accountable to some goals? Maybe um, together you could compare some data and then hold each other accountable. And, that's one way. Definitely working. To try to reach out to the kids. I'm there with you, so I understand it's really hard in terms of getting the kids to get in, but we have to collectively, I think the village concept is really critical now. We have to utilize our resources more
Mhm.
effectively to knock on doors and knock on windows and send messages. So it's going to be a collective support effort, I think, for you to really with your community to help you achieve that goal in terms of whatever resources are there to help you achieve your goal. So that's kind of what I would recommend.
Well, I know I have a team teacher. We both teach the same subject, and we bounce
Hmm.
off each other, some ideas. So that's kind of one thing. But also, I kind of took a look at how things played out, especially with communication with parents and students. So
Hmm.
I made some adjustments.
Hmm.
I knew I had some parents that were counterproductive. So
Hmm.
I had to make a decision to use another strategy versus go to them because they were counterproductive.
Absolutely.
They were kind of shifting some blame towards my way, and
Hmm.
they can do that, but I think that was counterproductive. So I had to address my students and let them know that we're I'm not going to contact your parents so much, and because we had some experiences where they were counterproductive. I'll be honest with my students. So I said, I'm going to directly deal with you. And it was just a few students, that I contacted their parents, and wasn't a good experience because
Yeah.
they wanted to deflect. So I kind of made that adjustment. And I made a few adjustments, and I kind of attacked early versus later.
Yes.
So I've been on the, I've been on a real aggressive approach to
Hmm.
contacting them and getting with them earlier
Right.
versus later. So
Right.
that's, I also, with setting the goal for my students, for them to be successful, we also came up with a plan to, what is our action plan for
Hmm.
attaining this goal.
Hmm.
So I had an action plan that I set up, and
Hmm.
I discussed it with, like I said, I had to model what I expected of them.
Hmm.
And so far it's better. I
Hmm.
noticed that it's better. So we'll see if I attain that goal. And
That sounds awesome. And I would just say
yeah,
again, utilize your community, the school resources, meaning
yeah,
you know the counselors, the parent center, the attendance
yeah.
office, all those places have to play a role because we're all they're all our same kids, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
So I, like you know, when the counterproductive conversations come up, or the combative conversations, the deflective, the triggering, I too, like you, have to pull in support, because we're not there for that. We're there to really be that bridge. And
Yeah.
so some can hear it, some are in so much pain and trauma they cannot hear it, and so they're in I call it the cycle of grief, because so much loss. They're in
Yes.
a cycle of grief that they can't see. They're angry, they're blaming, and to be helpful, and knowing that, then I definitely have to collaborate, and push for that. And so I've been pretty optimistic, um, about what I see, and so I'm optimistic that if you reach out, your goals could be achieved.
Now,
You know.
you mentioned, use your resources and the community around you.
Hmm.
I have uh, had one of the counselors assist me with a few students, and she followed through.
Hmm.
And I am using some of my resources, but I appreciate your input.
And then
Uh,
we were talented. I believe that we're talented. So if we talk to each other, and again, you've created a great forum for people to come together and bounce off each other, and this is how we're going to grow. And
yeah.
so uh, that was good. Appreciate
Okay, so I have one more, and then we can open it up to the panel and see if they have some questions. So this is my second question for you.
it. Yes.
When you set a goal and you didn't meet the expectations that you were going after, how do you constructively deal with it?
So first I go cry. I'm doing that now, because again, it's like, whew, being that lifelong learner, I'm a super high achiever. So, you
Yeah.
know, part of your personality would determine how you deal with things. And so that's why, again, you got to really kind of have a sense of yourself, knowing who you are, your background, what you feel, what you believe, so you could deal with disappointment, and deal with being realistic, because sometimes, we don't do our part. We set a goal and it's unrealistic because we haven't done our part, or we haven't thoroughly put systems in place for us to be successful. So, like the goal that I'm working on, that I've been trying to achieve, I haven't really put in the time that I need to put in. So it's kind of like you want this reward, but you got to put in the work. In your mind, you're working, but you have to actually have results. Measurable means you have to have results that you're achieving these goals. So if you're punching away and punching away, I'm a student, I want to pass my classes, but I don't do no work. I turn in no work, right? That's the disconnect. I have I'm a parent, I have children. So, my question to my kids is, why do you do all the work and you miss that step of pressing send?
Mm.
So, it's painful, right? When you don't achieve your goal, it hurts. But this is where you have to have some level of trusting relationships. That's why those relationships are important, so that you can actually have someone to say, okay, can you help me? Or I messed up. Or I don't know what to do. You know, um, I just bombed that. And it's okay. Failure is part of success. When you fail, you learn. So that's one of the things, a cultural issue that we need to come up with. We expect perfection, and making mistakes is part of the learning process. If
Yes.
you learn.
Yes. Can I make a comment about that? So yes, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because when I do the goal setting with the students, and if they didn't meet their expectations the semester before, I asked them to take a look at, why this happened. And that's when the learning comes in. You take a look at it, and then you could kind of make an adjustment from what happened before. So yes, and also the point you just made about learning from your mistakes. And see, it makes sense, because if you're being taught new information, that means that you don't know it. So if you don't know the information, you're gonna make some mistakes. It's just normal. Now that's normal, but
So we're programmed in a society that has all these
exactly.
isms, and again,
Yeah.
it's countercultural to who we are. With nothing about this paradigm in society is going to allow us to grow and nourish unless you in your home you have a good solid foundation. You're instantly walking out your door and you're attacked because it's counter to everything who you are.
Yes.
So the judgment, you're so harsh on yourself, and depending on your parents might be really harsh too. So we have to relearn how to, again, relate, how to learn. And so that's part of that process. And
Yes.
we, you know,
That's the changing of mentality. I let my students, it's okay that you don't know this. I know that you don't know it. So once I'm teaching it to you, you're gonna make some mistakes, ask questions, and you're gonna learn. You're gonna move forward. Just, I kind of let them know that it's gonna be all right, because a lot of people think, well, we've been taught, like you said,
mhm,
we've been taught that, or we've been ridiculed for not knowing. So whenever you're ridiculed for not knowing, it's it's crazy, and that's how this society is, and that's how kids grow up ridiculing each other because they made a mistake on in a class setting. So
yeah,
it's about a reprogramming, and that's what this platform is about, to
totally,
open the eyes of people, to let them know it's okay that you don't know. That's normal. Everybody got ignorance because everybody don't know everything. So
yeah,
wonderful, wonderful,
yeah,
wonderful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open it up and
okay.
let the audience ask some questions. I'm gonna start with Brother Doctor, since he was here first. We're gonna go with who was here first. Brother Doctor, do you have any questions for Sister Make It Happen?
And what I do, but go to someone else because I'm trying to figure out how to ask this question.
Okay,
Okay.
There's
okay.
something you said about it's going to be something dealing with the realistic, achievable, and I'm kind of confused. Setting a goal. I'm trying to figure out how to say it.
And it's so interesting that you said that, because part of what I was going to say right before during our last discussion is that the question is important. You have to know how to formulate questions.
Right.
But then again, a question means a thought. So you have to be thinking. You have to be thinking to have a thought, then to have a desire about that thought, or a desire, period. And but again, the thought, the question. So part of why I failed in my last project was I didn't ask enough questions.
Yeah, because part of it.
But again, my ego kept me from asking questions. So I had to drop my ego. I'm still learning that, to let go of what I think I know so that I can ask a question, because that's the most important, to think, to ask, because that's where you're going to stretch it and push it.
Okay. Yeah, because part of what I was going to ask is setting a goal. If you're setting a goal, because you said we have to do our own part when you were talking about being realistic, because my view on setting goals, if you're setting a goal that's realistic and achievable, to me that's not a goal. I'm kind of envisioning it as where you're setting a goal where it's possible, but improbable. And when you do the improbable, you meet that, that's when you met a goal. So can you kind of define the difference between like realistic and achievable and something that, like people say, nah, you can't do that. And you do something that's pretty much, like I said, it's possible, but improbable that you've done it. Because, we all can't be Michael Jordan. And you can't
Well,
set a goal to be like that. It's like 1 in a million. But can you just define something like difference between realistic, achievable, then go where it's probably far out there, but you still go for it?
Well, what I can do is in my practice, I try to provide tools for those that I'm working with to do a lot of soul searching, to dig inside, because you're right. Michael Jordan's goals are not everybody else's goals. He had that vision in his brain, right? Now, of course, I feel on some other level, taking it to another level, we're all connected to the great I am, the great, spirit, the great one mind, the great. So we all get ideas, who is able to download it? Whose mind is clear enough to download it and then to get the vision, however it resonates with you. So, it sounds like I'm talking to family, so I can speak like this. Again, everybody doesn't have a vision like to be the president. That's not everybody's vision. Some visions is whatever is in you, right? So you have to make goals that are realistic for you. Like I said, a simple making calling, 2 people sounds in my mind like I can do this. But when I live in my life, in my world, I can't even make 2 phone calls because my life is so out of control. So if I have to learn how to manage my world so that my visions can manifest, and my visions are going to be my visions. They're not going to be anyone else's visions. Visions, I'm calling them goals, are the same things. It's like, what gets you up? Like, do you hear yourself wake you up? And when you're up, what are you doing? You breathe. Where are you going? After your mama and your daddy make you get up and go to school every day, go to Sunday school, then no one does that. Then what? Then it's silent. And you got to hear yourself. So your goals are going to be something different. What's realistic for me or for, CA or for, brother Mashkani, it's going to be different for everybody. We all going to see something different in our mind's eye. We're in our pineal gland. Everything is different for everybody. So it's not one formula. But you want these things to be in your drive for life. I call them goals. I said they're specific steps. When you get to that grand project, whatever that is, whatever it is for you, again, it might be as simple as watering your grass. It might be as simple as putting on your shoes. Everybody is at a different phase in their life and dealing with their own conditions. So everybody's goals are going to be different.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Yeah, this is good. What's the difference between a goal and a task?
Okay, okay, I'll put it like this. So let's say institutions have visions, right? And then they have missions, and then they have goals, and they have objectives, because each of these goes step by step into how you get to this bigger picture. Like you have your single cell and you grow into this multiple, dimensional, multi-complex, being that can speak and heartbeat and eyes blink and all this at one time. Right. So, a task is part of a objective, a part of a goal, because it takes step by step.
Can I say this?
So I hope that helped a little bit on how to come up with goals, because in order to get a goal, it is hard sometimes, but you got to see something and then it's like, okay, well, how do I get there? First, I need a driver's license. Oh, that's my first task. Okay, I get a driver's license.
Yeah, it's more like to me, like I said, it's more of a task. a goal, kind of what I'm saying this because if it's something realistic and achievable, it's just a task. You just go do it.
Again, language,
like Rasa Key by the students.
it could be language, definitely a play on language and words for sure.
To me, for him to have his class, and his goal would have every student get 100% graduate with an A. That's a goal.
That's a huge great goal.
That goal to be reached is probably highly improbable.
Well, again, I say depending on how he works those resources. If the parents, everybody got a part to play. He can't get to that goal by himself.
Correct. So that to me, that's a goal because most likely it's not going to happen.
Okay, so now can I jump in?
That's where I'm at. Explain that, because to me, a goal should be something that most likely is not going to happen.
Okay.
You're describing a task, something that you should be able to do. Something realistically you can go out, because when I set goals for myself, it's something most likely it's not going to be accomplished. Now I can go out and do a task. Hey, yeah, get this done, get that done, because it's reachable, it's attainable. But a goal to me is something.
But those build to something else. The reachable and attainable lead to a bigger picture.
Right. You learn more about yourself when you try and do something that's unattainable. But like I said, to me, a goal is something that's really hard to get to. It can be done, but most likely it's not going to be done. Go back to Michael Jordan. Everybody wants to be like Michael Jordan, but the chances on more than 3 or 4 people in the world being better than him is probably not highly likely.
And probably not a lot of people.
It's possible, it's probable. But like I said, my visions of a goal is something that's kind of improbable, but possible.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Example, like hitting the lottery. The probability of everybody on this hitting the lottery back to back to back, one after the other, it's highly improbable. It's possible. That would be a goal for, you hit it one week, I hit the next week, so on and so on. It's possible, but improbable.
Yeah, but you don't have any control over that.
Okay, so yeah, that's something that's not, you can't dictate that.
No, I'm talking about far as being probable, possible and improbable. That's what I'm saying. Goals to me is something that's possible, but most likely improbable.
Okay.
But if you work hard at it, it's possible, but likely, no, it's not going to happen. But you can go for it.
Okay, so now you had mentioned what's the difference between a task and a goal. I would say a goal is more so like your end game, the end game for what you want. That's an end game. A task is just, like you said, completing an activity or something.
The end game, though, too, right?
Well, no, I'm saying a goal is a little bit, I would say more. I'm trying to find the words for it, but I know like the goal that I set is to improve a situation from last semester, because definitely 39% D's and F's is not acceptable.
What did you want? You wanted 100% everybody, or you've been
well, that's always that's an ultimate goal. That's an ultimate goal, but it's not based in so much a reality because of the conditions. That's an important word in this, the conditions, because anything could happen. So the conditions, you're dealing with
the reality of it.
Yeah. So
different variables.
Goals. If you set a goal, you look at the reality of it, like I said, realistic of it. Well, I can achieve this. Like I said, to me, if it's something that you can set that is easy, that you should have been doing anyway, you can just do a basic task. To me, that's not a goal. The goal is something that you have to just get up and just try, and you're gonna have failure. Like you said, you're not trying to get 100% in your classroom, you're gonna have failure.
Mhm.
That's a goal. You keep trying, because I don't think you shouldn't be able to, complete a lot of goals. If you can sit up every day and complete goal after goal after goal, no. Those just tasks you were doing.
Because there is a difference between a vision, a mission, goals, and objectives. There actually are differences. I know that they're used interchangeably, and sometimes it is hard to determine the difference. But when you walk into some place, you're dealing with somebody, you want to know what is their mission. You want to know how do they do business. And what's their outcome. What's their track record. You want to know some things. This is who you say you are. I say, prosperity living. And then what does that mean? What is our vision? My husband, he wants to open residential facilities for disabled adults. Okay, that's the vision. What's the mission? What are the objectives? What are the goals? What are the tasks? Okay, you got to get property. You have to, if you're gonna brand new, or you're gonna fix up the property. These are different things to get to that bigger vision. That's my understanding. That's how I help, so that when that question comes up, how do I set a goal? Some things that are really grand, it intimidates you, so you can't see it. So you have to break them down so that you can take a step by step. The baby wants to run, but falls every time because they're trying to do too much. But if they start by crawling and then start by walking, eventually they might be able to run. So that's how I understand vision, mission, and goals.
Okay, so let me go ahead and see if Sister Cherie, do you have a question for Sister Make It Happen?
You know what? I don't, but I love that analogy that she just presented about the crawling to walking and then running. I thought that was excellent, as well as everything else she was talking about.
Thank you, sister. Thank you.
No problem.
Be safe. Be safe.
Okay, so let's go to Brother Mashinda. Brother Mashinda.
Greetings, everybody. What's up, Brother Rasa Key? And
Yes,
Sister
sir.
Make It Happen.
Peace.
Welcome.
Thank you.
That's right. I won't be long, I guess. But, I just want to, make a comment. Well, I want to thank you for bringing positivity, to the platform. Everything is on point. I just want to make a comment. I was listening to about goals. I'm in education myself, among other things. Lifelong learner, and but basically, the way I view goals, I think we're dealing with semantics. Goal is to me is a benchmark. And so when you set goals, whether it's short-term goals, long-term goals, mid-range goals, so in other words, the task is the action en route to that goal. So so when you're in motion, if you're not in motion, you're not going to complete those goals. Like Sister Make It Happen said, you don't wake up, put your tennis shoes on, put your shoes on, and brush your teeth, put your clothes on. Your day is going to be pretty shot out. You're not prepared. So those are tasks. Like Brother DR say, those are tasks. Those are learned tasks. Those are things that we should know how to do. But believe it or not, there are folks that are in ruts. And so they're in need of life coaches. They're in need of someone to get behind them and say, hey, this is how you do it. From my understanding, my experiences, my perspective, to the best of my ability, I'm gonna try to pass this knowledge on to you. And, one thing about, the children in the school systems, they have to have incentives, just unfortunate that, it's like, what, we got to play a game, but in reality, I remember when I was in the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, I took Spanish. A lot of children didn't take Spanish, but I took the Spanish class. And what made it so interesting to me is because we had the Spanish club, and there lied the incentive, because we won prizes. So I stayed after school from like, I think it was from 3:30 till about 4:30 or something like that. And Mr. Angel Castillo, Dr. Angel Castillo from Cuba, who was my Spanish coach, I mean, Spanish teacher from the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And I excelled. I got A's in it. Well, he made it interesting, and also had incentives, you know. So the school had the funding to allow him to put that together. So back to that village, back to that community, you know. So Brother Rasa Key, yeah, he's in the classroom. So he and I, brother Rasa Key and I had a lot of conversation. You know, there's not a lot of buy-in in some of the ideals and philosophies that we understand in terms of how we're trying to promote this positive journey for our children. You know, there's not from the school board, school districts. So we can't make excuses and leave it there. We just do the best that we can. But when we set those goals, you know, you got to start off like with short-term goals. And if that means that be to school on time, and because little Johnny shows up always late or he don't even come to school. So we can get him to come to school, then that goal has been achieved. That benchmark is there. We put the check mark by that benchmark. The task was our involvement and him completing the task. And then that's a goal that we can check off. Like, okay, after 9 weeks, man, this guy done turned it around. Well, he can't help but learn more if he's in the classroom. And then, of course, the village and the family and the other counseling and the things the sister making happen. And Roski was talking about, you know, we got to do what we got to do to rectify those situations. So again, I promise I wouldn't be long-winded. I just wanted to interject that everyone that's talked tonight making great sense. Brother DR, doctor, you making great sense. You know, it's like, man, you know, he's DR got that killer instinct. Let's do this. You know, let's get it done. You know, no, I'm feeling.
Okay, Brother Machenda, we can't hear you.
Yeah, you know, this internet is
Participate.
unstable. Yeah.
If you don't, I'm sorry. If you're not participating, I mean, if the subject or the individual that we're trying to help is not participating, you know, hey, we got to come up with new ideas and new strategies for them, you know, that type of thing, to the best of our ability without us going crazy. So,
Amen.
but anyway, I'm done. You know, I just wanted to interject. Thank you guys for allowing me to speak, and let's keep this going.
All right, Brother
You know
CA.
what? You know, wait, what Machinda brought up something very interesting.
Hold up, Brother Doctor.
I don't want to forget this one because he brought up that you know, someone like a mentor that passes on, and what exactly words were. My question: how important is it to have that mentor, like with Rasa Key? If he would have had a mentor that achieved the 100% all students, to teach him, like Machinda said, someone that passes on to you that, hey, this how I did it and it's achievable. How important is that to have a mentor though, that, you know, or find a mentor to, you know, that have done what you've done to pass it on? How important is that when, you know, compared when you don't have a mentor that can pass on, you don't know the one that's done it? Can you talk about that?
Just to make it happen. Unmute.
Yes, definitely is one of the components that I believe highly in. I definitely in my practice promote. I try to assist my clients and the folks that I service to find mentors, to connect with mentors. Like again, I mentioned I have a mentor that's a retired teacher, a 39-year-old. She could be one of my students, and she's coaching me on my journey into my new life. She's helping me, and I have to be humble enough to learn from an experienced individual. And so someone with the track record who can show me how to achieve my goals and help course correct me when I get off. Because of course I'm intelligent and I think that I know, but my way hasn't helped me. I haven't gotten to my goal, even though I know. So I need a expert with some experience, you know, some field work, that they have a track record and they can show me the steps to take and help me to get back on the yellow brick road that I got off of to get to my goal.
Okay.
So I believe in mentorship.
Yeah, definitely. I'm developing a mentorship program, and it's slightly different than probably other mentorship programs, but I think it's going to work out well. I have a couple of people already being mentored, so yes, that's excellent. Okay, so I want to go to Brother California. Brother California, you have a question for Sister Make It Happen? He okay, Brother California. I don't know. He probably took a step away. So, is there any other questions we have for Sister Make It Happen?
Yeah, another one, man.
Go ahead, Doctor.
Now, Sister, make it happen. Now let's go with the time frames. Now, when you set your goal, you should also set a time frame. I'm pretty sure. How important is setting that time frame, sticking to that time frame, but is it okay to extend that time frame? And the other part be, how do you know when it's time to give up? And when you keep extending that time frame, you never reach to that time frame. Do you just keep extending the time frame, or is it just time to just stop and regroup, start over, or realize, hey, this goal wasn't reachable because you weren't able to do it in this time frame, this first 90 days, and you set another time frame for another 90 days. Basically, I want to say, when do you give up?
Well, I think you answered your
Yeah.
question. I think you answered your question. And so it is going to be based on your energy level, your resources. But for sure, with hopefully you have a mentor, someone you're working with, coaching you. So, and you have these, again, these tasks, these benchmarks, how many times did you get to school on time? How many times, are you achieving the tasks? Are you able to check those tasks off? So if that's kind of where I'm stuck with my goal. If I can't even do the first task, it's going to extend my goal. And so, yeah, I'm reevaluating, why am I doing this? To answer my question, is it realistic? Is it still my goal? Is it still part of my big picture, my plan? And again, if I have support and the resources and, the encouragement by, positive feedback from, again, mentors, coaches helping you, that's going to determine whether you stay the course. If you're running the race by yourself, you're going to burn out. That's why as a community, we got to work together. I'm stronger because of my colleague. My colleague says, he didn't know me well and I got hidden messages. Well, he's learning a lot of things, right? We from the same family. Now he didn't know at first, but he know now. So again, keeping it going, building, right? But if we didn't have each other, burnout, burnout. You lose the steam, you lose the motivation. So you need a good support around you to determine how much longer you're going to go. I would recommend. And again, do you have the resources? Do you have the stamina? And some people, like I said, some people, when you get up in the morning, if you're not hungry, what drives you? What is your hunger? What is driving you? That's another way I help people to figure out goals. What drives you? You can sit all day, and if your stomach don't growl, you may not ever give up. Get up. Your stomach start growling, you're gonna go to the refrigerator. If the refrigerator is empty, you're gonna be looking around. Okay, where the food at? Oh, I gotta go to work to get food. Oh, now I go. That's the basic that I can think of what drives you. And, how do you get a goal is based on your drive. What's driving you?
then can I say something that I think that wasn't really mentioned? It could have been, but uh, probably a key word to all of this could be motivation too. What is your motivation? I mean, what motivates you to even set this goal?
Mhm.
And like I know the Four Wants by Neely Fuller at the end of the Four Wants is what do you expect the constructive result to be? You know, what are the what is the benefit to achieving this goal? So I think motivation is another driving tool. You know, your goals should be something that motivates you. Uh, you know, maybe that could be put in there too. What do you think, just to make it happen?
Well, I agree, and then I always think about when I hear motivation, man's law or hierarchy of need. Again, that's where I go to the basic need. Your hunger is your basic need. After that, once all those basic needs are taken care of, then you can have desires and dreams and start thinking visionaries. But if your basic needs are not taken care of, you ain't visionary. You ain't thinking grand. You scraping, trying to just survive. So to have a vision, to have a goal, I'm, again, it's like, where are you in your basic needs? If you're taken care of, you're going to think differently. If your basic needs are not met, you're thinking differently. And so, though, that to me affects the motivation. And that's
Okay.
how I use that analogy about hunger as a basic need. That's, if nothing else moves you, your hunger is going to move you. And what are you hungry for?
Okay. So let's see if brother California, are you here? See if you wanted to ask a question before we complete the evening.
No question. Thank you.
All right, brother. Okay, so yeah, folks. Do anybody else have any last questions for Sister Make It Happen? Okay, well, Sister Make It Happen. What do you want to leave us with this evening for parting purposes?
um, Rise and shine, people. Rise and shine. No more mourning. Don't get up and mourn. Rise and shine, my people. Go get it. This is our time. Conjunction junction. What's your function? Go get it. Rise and shine. This is our time. So
Excellent.
may you be motivated and healthy and well, and live prosperously.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I really appreciate you coming out this evening, and I always appreciate the panel that comes out, and it's been real, and
Well, I was
yes,
nervous. I didn't realize I was going to be on camera, but it's okay. Thank you, family, for being kind to the sister, and
uh,
may you travel in peace.
okay. Well, I want to thank everybody, and also next week we're gonna have Coach Leonard on next week, and the topic's gonna be distance learning. So we're gonna touch on distance learning, and hopefully everybody come back. Sister, make it happen. If you're able to come on out, and you can contribute to the distance learning. And so I'm about to say, each one teach one. That is our marquee right there. So I appreciate everybody, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Good night.